Next, we're going to hear all about green shipping corridors and a lot more besides from our very own Dr. Eleni Bougioukou. And Eleni also was awarded the Rising Star Award from Maritime UK this year, as well as completing her PhD. So she's done a lot of work in terms of leading sustainability and innovation. So can we welcome Eleni to the stage? Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you can. Hello and welcome in our very own Innovation Hub, and hello to those of you online. Thank you for being here today. So you're going to hear a bit more about the work we do here at the Port of Tyne, both in regards to our green port strategy, but I'm also going to focus to the green shipping corridors, which you heard a bit from Baroness Veer earlier from the Minister. So I was very happy she highlighted this initiative internationally at the moment. So, as most of you know, we are a port located at the northeast of England, at both sides of the River Tyne. We are a trust port supporting over 12,000 jobs locally, indirectly, and we are very well connected through air, rail, and also the road. We are a deep sea port, so we are able to accommodate 90% of the world's largest vessels. This is very important also for the green shipping corridors that I'm going to mention later. We own our very own clean energy park, which is basically some land that we have made available to some of the most important renewable energy players. So at the moment, we have the operational and maintenance base of Equinor, the world's biggest wind farm. And recently, we have also allocated our previous coal terminal to Van Noord, who has the storage base for Sofia wind farm. So this is obviously the change from coal to renewable energy, and we're very happy that we're able to see that in the port. You are at the moment at the UK's first and only Maritime Innovation Hub. We hold events here where we try to bring together other sectors, academia, SMEs, in order to collaborate and innovate in the decarbonization and digitalization areas. So after the UK government in 2019 launched the Maritime 2050 strategy, we launched our own version of that. So we have our Tyne 2050 program, which is managed by the port's employees, our managers, which is our 30-year strategy to decarbonize and digitalize the port, so to become greener and smarter. And as I mentioned, we have the Tyne Clean Energy Park, which we see as the base of the renewable energy sector, and we hope this will be a co-location for innovation as well. So our green port strategy is formed by our net zero carbon by 2030 goal. We aim to be carbon neutral from port activity by 2030. We're well underway to achieving that goal. We aim to be an all electric port by 2040 and a test bed for clean energy. I'm going to show a video which is describing a bit the work that we do, and then I'm going to continue. Hopefully the video will play.
The port's intentionally ambitious Tyne 2050 strategy, a long-term clear vision for the future, mirrors our plan for purposeful change in key areas, such as environment and technology. Our green port strategy outlined in Tyne 2050 delivers the port's organisational net zero roadmap, with the decarbonisation objective to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, and to become an all-electric port by 2040. Through collaboration with industry, government and academic partners, we are creating live working labs within the port environment to assess how potential clean energy solutions perform in the real-world environment. The purpose of the project is to be at the forefront of clean energy innovation within the UK maritime sector, conducting tests, fostering development, and offering support to the region by advancing clean energy technology and solutions. We are transitioning our plant and equipment to renewable generated electric power to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and meet the all-electric Tyne 2050 goal. We are commencing the installation of wind and solar energy technology throughout the port to reduce our reliance on the conventional grid. We are exploring new and innovative methods for transitioning specific equipment to utilize hydrogen as a primary fuel source. Since port ecosystems are anticipated to play a pivotal role in the clean fuels market, the Port of Tyne is currently looking at becoming an energy hub, facilitating the bunkering of clean fuels with dedicated infrastructure. The Clean Tyne Shipping Corridor project sets out the economic and environmental benefits of creating a new green shipping corridor for the northeast, one that links the region with Europe's green shipping network and provides a clear and established low-carbon route for shipping.
Perfect. So you just saw some of the current projects that we have at the port in regards to our green port strategy. We invest more than 30% of our annual CAPEX every year on green projects. Since we are a trust port, we're very lucky to be able to invest and have projects that might have a longer ROI compared to other ports that might have the shareholders kind of pointing out different projects. So we have started to electrify our quayside plant and equipment. We're buying new electric cranes, and I'm not going to go through everything, but we are trying to be as sustainable as possible. We're going to transition our HGV fleet to HVO in the next months, and we have currently finalized the Green Shipping Corridor project feasibility study, which I'm going to describe. So basically what green shipping corridors are, for those who heard the phrase earlier but don't know what that is. So back in COP26, we signed the Clydebank Declaration. This was signed by 19 countries at that time, but now more than 24 countries have committed to establish green routes between their countries. So what green maritime corridors are? They are end-to-end decarbonized routes where a clean vessel transitions fueled by clean fuels, and this of course needs to be supported by landside infrastructure at both ends, so at both ports of the corridor. This year we finalized our feasibility study, which was funded by the UK government through UK Shore and through the Clean Maritime Demonstrator Competition Round 2. As you can see here, huge ports, and we are very happy to be listed from the Global Maritime Forum as one of the green corridors that is now starting to be developed. So basically here you can see all the different types of stakeholders who come together from day one to establish a green shipping corridor. So everyone from fuel producers to port logistics and bunkering, the vessels that will actually transition between the two ports, cargo owners and consumers, everyone is brought together, and this helps obviously to decide which fuel they will choose in order to develop the green shipping corridor. So our project was formed by Connected Places Catapult, Newcastle University, DF Energy, Lloyd's Register, AROP and the Northeast Lab. So we were very happy to collaborate with partners both locally within the Northeast but also from the UK. As I mentioned, this was funded by UK Shore, which you heard previously from different speeches as well. So what we tried to do is we tried to explore the routes that we currently have at the Port of Tyne. So we tried to map out all the different cargo that is going through the port, all the different vessel types, and we tried to identify which would be the best route that we would choose to do the feasibility study with. We chose Port of Rotterdam and one of our container feeder vessel customers, BG Freight, to perform the feasibility study. And our vision was to join up with the European Green Shipping Corridor Network. So we chose methanol as the fuel to focus on this particular feasibility study, mainly because it's technically feasible at the moment. So compared to other clean fuels, the TRL levels are higher. It has been selected from some of the world's major feeder container operators as they transition fuel that they will head into. Port of Rotterdam, the counterparty of this corridor, has plans for green methanol, and they have started already to bunker methanol. And also there is nearby production. We hope to have production up in the Northeast as well, so that we could use the feedstock in order to produce the e-methanol. So here is a corridor timeline that we have developed through the project, which starts from an operational demonstrator. And then if you can see through the lines, it goes up to wider scale up, where potentially more than one operators at the port will use methanol and we need bunkering. This will change the different scenarios of the different infrastructure that we might need. So in the beginning, we might just have truck deliveries, but that in the future, with a scale up, we'll potentially need dedicated infrastructure within or close to the port. So as you can see here, the operational corridor around 2030 includes just one short sea container vessel operating from the Port of Tyne to the Port of Rotterdam. But this in the future, and when the scale up will be a reality, we will have more ships transitioning, and then, as I said, all the dynamics will change and we will need extra fuel to be provided. So some of the challenges that we have identified through this study is that obviously we don't know what the future fuel will be. This means that someone needs to take the first step. I'm sure you've heard that before. We have the chicken and egg problem where vessels are waiting from ports to try and see which fuel they will bunker. The ports are waiting from their customers to direct them in regards to what fuel they will need to have available in the ports. So we believe that it's a very big opportunity for the port sector to take one step further and try and direct a bit the shipping industry as well. So another challenge is the production and storage of clean fuel. So even if all vessels tomorrow would be able to run on methanol, we don't have the fuel available to fuel those ships. So one of the things we need to focus on is obviously the production of the fuels, which links to the cost gap as well. So if the fuels are produced locally or at least within the country, this of course brings the price down. So if we were to need methanol, it's of course better to have local production in the Northeast. So this is one of the areas that we're exploring as well. So this obviously links with the supply challenges and then also the mobilized demand. So in order for a production facility to decide to invest in having a production plant of clean fuels, they need the off-takers. So the green shipping corridors basically help these to be communicated. So for the production part to know that there is going to be a demand from the vessel side. So the agreement is taking place from day one, so everyone is able to accelerate the development of these. And then finally, bilateral funding, which is very important. We've heard the UK government thankfully announce some bilateral funding with Denmark and the Netherlands and also Norway in regards to green shipping corridors and feasibility studies. We need more bilateral funding to be able to support these initiatives. And then finally, a positive note. So the success criteria and all the opportunity that we see at the moment within our sector is that through the corridors, we have all the stakeholders fully committed. This is obviously one of the main aspects that needs to be taking place. It's the building block in order to have a successful green corridor. The customer demand is very, very important, and to have a viable fuel supply chain. So being able to have the fuel locally will obviously decrease a lot the cost gap that we will face in the future. And then finally, the policymakers and regulators need to step up and try and accelerate all the rules and regulations that need to come in place and try and overcome the safety standards problems quicker so we can be able to transition into a clean future quicker. Thank you very much.